it's very hard. You can't do due diligence on someone because everyone has like curtains, right?
Yeah.
And then there's curtains and curtains and curtains and curtains. And then you finally get into the living room. You're like, wait a minute, there's a fake door.
Yeah. But you can learn about yourself, and that was what I didn't do. I didn't learn to trust my intuition. I didn't learn to set boundaries. I didn't learn that I deserved to feel really good. I thought that if I felt bad about something, that maybe it was my own issue. Maybe I needed to fix it. So I was constantly fixated on what I needed to change about myself to work with the decision I had made, or the decision the church had made, or the decision he had made, or the decision God had made. I was working on changing myself to align with that instead of being like, I deserve to, walk my own path. I deserve to feel good about relationships. And I can look back on the 6 months leading up to our marriage where I emotionally shut down. I sexually shut down. And at the time I didn't have the tools or the understanding to know what was going on. So I blamed myself. But now I can look back and see that was my intuition saying something's not right. Now I can tap into that. And I would love to, have all women have access to the power of their intuition, because we can't always do due diligence on other people, and they can put up a really good show, but our intuition is really, really smart, really freaking powerful. We can see through a lot more than we give ourselves credit for, but we just don't always acknowledge it until it's a little too late.
I like that because it always starts within yourself. It's so many, like we see this all around the world though, is people who you look at certain people in different like toxic relationships or relationships where they keep on going back to the same person, even though that person's cheated on them with like their best friend 17 times. And like, they always end up back in the same spot. And you're like, you don't love yourself enough to really be like, one, I know what I want. And two, also fuck you. And so, obviously that's when you got to the, I love myself and also fuck you point. Like, how did that transition then into your divorce and then moving on and out of the law from there?
So it's a little bit of a dark story, but I mean, I hope that it connects with somebody. But I had just gotten to a point where I really was unrecognizable as myself. And I was thinking of any way I could end the marriage or get out of the marriage that didn't involve leaving the marriage, because that was forbidden by the church. So, part of me was like contemplating, could I manufacture an affair? Not that I was interested in one, but just wanting to do something to blow up the marriage. Or I was really depressed and I was struggling with suicidal thoughts. So that was going on for several months. And thankfully I had a girlfriend. I remember walking to my law firm to work one morning, and I called her and I just told her, like, this is what's going on. And she said, Alexandra, you can always leave. Leaving is going to be a much easier, like explaining a divorce to a new partner is going to be a lot easier than explaining a divorce because you had an affair. And that sounds so obvious, but when you're in a depressive state, like, logic doesn't really exist in that sense. And to have one person, actually she was my maid of honor, to have one person just tell me, you have permission to leave and I'm going to be by your side no matter what, something just clicked. And I went to the office that day and I did work and I had a couple glasses of wine after the office, and I went home, and in like 5 seconds of courage, I said, I'm moving out, and I packed and I left. If I'd overthought it, I might've stayed, but I knew I just needed to get out. My life it's such a turning point.
What's her name?
Brittany.
Brittany.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brittany.
To Brittany.
I would like to pour some on the carpet, but it might ruin my
I think
carpet.
Brittany loves tequila.
Let's go, Brittany.
That's something I just heard from you. Blown my mind.
I love it when Ricky just like makes guest appearances. He did
I'm here.
He did this 2 episodes ago where he just started talking.